Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Adkins and this is my EDL 854 introduction. A little bit about me. I have been married for 18 years to my husband Kevin. We have three children, two boys and a girl. The oldest is almost 16 at the end of the month, a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old. So I have a high schooler, a middle schooler, and an elementary school child. We have two dogs. They're labs. One is 5 years old and the other one is 10 months old. Professionally, I have been teaching for 19 years. I started teaching in fourth and fifth grade. I taught there for 8 years, and then I got my master's in special education. And then I taught special education at the elementary level for 3 years. I am currently in am teaching at the middle school level with the specializing in math in special education, and I've been there for the past 8 years. I am halfway through my master's in administration through Fort Hays State University. 10 things that I learned from the reading. Well, right off the bat, I just about the school-based management. Um, based in that was all about leaders having a say in the budget, leaders having control over, their understand their needs in their schools better. The centrally managed resources. Um, I understood that about the consistency between schools, the cost effectiveness of it, and then the accountability, being able to provide the equal thing to each school. Um, a big thing that stood out for me was that any mistakes that are made with school finances directly impacts the students. I think that was the biggest thing that stuck out for me was the fact that remembering that whatever you do is going to impact the students. It's necessary to understand the needs of your school in order to make the financial decisions. You need to understand the needs of your school, the needs of your students. The importance of understanding financial reports. As I was looking over those reports that of the examples that they provided with them for us, there was a lot that I did not understand and a lot that I realized that I need to learn. The importance of the right accounting software. I know that they mentioned several different softwares. There was a couple articles that mentioned software. I think that I think my school district has a say over what software you use. But being able to have the right software is definitely important. School finance formulas are determined from the state, but it determines how much each school district gets. I have learned a lot more about that this past year, just within my school district um, in my teacher contract, and the issues that we've had with that this year. Um, Educational savings accounts and how they allow parents to spend money on education how they see fit, whether it's on a private school or public school. Um, School incomes must be handled in accordance with school requirements, the regulations, and the state laws. Principals need to regularly review and approve the budgets, and budgets have to be reported to the necessary parties. Those last few things came from the checklist, which I found was extremely useful. Um, there was still a lot of stuff in there that I feel like I still need to learn so much more about. Um, but just kind of, I didn't want to. I mean, I could have written down that whole, checklist to make sure as part of this, but I wanted to make sure that I got part of it in here. Things that I have or have not seen my principal do. I have had four different principals over my 19 years, which I think I'm consider myself pretty lucky that it's only been four. I know that a lot of people have had many more principals in a short amount of time. But one thing that I definitely can say that across the board, transparency is something that I don't see as far as how money is spent. Um, principals do not tend to explain how they spent money, nor do I see accountability from them on how they spend the money. Um, I believe, I've always seen my principals told how they or spend money. Like they're allotted so many teachers in their budget. Um, they may have a little bit of extra spending money where they can hire paras, but typically they're told you can have this many paras to hire or this many aides to hire. Um, Budgets set by departments. I've had principals allocate money to each individual teacher, or like at the middle school level, um, allocate money for each department so they could spend money as needed. Um, but then again, I've also had seen where it's like they say that there's money by department, but you don't ever find out how much money, which kind of goes back to the transparency and the accountability. Whereas you know that each department is given money, but you don't know how much, and so you don't know how the money is spent. Um, all of my principals have approved purchase requests. Um, at the middle school level, we've always had an accountant. At the elementary school, we did not have an accountant other than the principal secretary. She was kind of the accountant, the secretary, and the principal did some of the accounting as well. And I have seen my principal ask for budget spreadsheets, and so concerns that I have. Um, my biggest concern is that I have is my lack of knowledge on school finance. Over my 19 years of education, I've had little exposure to school finance. At the elementary school, I did run the student government, our student council, where at that point in time the kids had to approve um, when money was spent for the kids. Um, but again, there was little explanation as to how that was, and um, there was very little conversation. It was just one of those, the principal would hand me and say, I need the kids to sign off on this. And that was just because if money was being spent on the kids had to approve it. Don't know if that's the case now. And that was 10 years ago in a different district. So, like I said, I think that I go back to my lack of knowledge on school finance is my biggest concern, and I really hope that this class allows me the opportunity to become a lot more knowledgeable on this. Thank you.